Let's go do some recruiting.
She definitely did not waste time in finding a new Wildcat. What's up, YouTubers of the world? MegaGeekMixer here to give you guys my review on this week's episode of Stargirl. And yeah, this one was a good episode too, but it wasn't better than the last three here. I'm not saying this one was bad. It was good, but on a story structure part with how it's to continue from last week's episode, kind of doesn't fit in a way, mostly because of the deaths we got with Joel and Williams, and I know Courtney wasn't really affected by it as much as some people would be out there. The continuity of it and how it should have probably helped Courtney in realizing to move forward with the hero thing a little more in a smarter way would have helped, but it didn't really show here. But I think I'm just being a little nitpicky on that, and I'll get a little more into that later here. Let's talk about the star of this episode, that being Yolanda, the new Wildcat. And I loved what they did here, how they introduced us to her backstory and showing us who she was before she became what we saw through the first three episodes, an outcast, not willing to talk to anybody or doesn't really want to be friends with anybody. It turns out she was a very popular person, and yeah, she used to date Henry, but after doing something pretty stupid, it ended up getting leaked out there, and her reputation was damaged, not just for her and her school, but also for her family, because her family showed they were very proud of who she was before to who she is now, months later. And yeah, this all happened 3 months ago, from the popular to the unpopular, and it is sad that that happened to her and stuff, but at the same time, I'm not surprised when I found out Cindy was a part in it, along with Henry, that ruined the reputation and stuff. However, though, what I do like most about that backstory is how it also continues into the present to show us how the family dynamic between her and her family has changed, and it's changed not in a good way at all. It's changed so much that you can pretty much say all the brightness that was there when you see it in the beginning just completely died out. But that's mostly because, like I said, it ruined her family's name too, and she even mentioned how her family doesn't go near the school or let her go to church and stuff. It's almost like saying they don't want her to do anything, and they've been keeping her in punishment for 3 months. And I'm just like, okay guys, I know she did something very stupid, but don't you think that's a long time right there? And yeah, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, because I'm not a parent here, but I do know what it's like to take care of kids and stuff like that. So I still think, yeah, going a little harsh, don't you think? And that was really confirmed to me at the end of this episode when she finally stood up to her family and finally acknowledged that, yes, she did something really stupid, but she's ready to finally move on and stuff, and she needs her family's help to do it. Sadly, though, her family just rejects the acknowledgement and stuff, and say that you're not gonna be Yolanda anymore, the Yolanda you used to be. You disgraced this family. Almost sounding like they really care about their family statutes. Maybe showing that back in the past, their family had a history of always having good reputation, no bad in it. But here's the thing that this family's gonna have to learn. No family's perfect. I mean, we've all got our pros and cons in theirs, and I hope they realize that going forward. The only thing I will say is that I do agree with what her mother said, and the fact that she's not going to be the Yolanda she used to be, but not in the way you guys are probably thinking. Hear me out. What I'm saying is, yeah, Yolanda's not going to be the Yolanda she used to be. No, after this episode, she's now found a new identity, that being in Wildcat. And also in the fact that in real life, when you make a mistake like that, or something similar to that, or something that can be just as big as that, you never are the same person again. No, you evolve from it. Sometimes it can be a good evolve, sometimes it can be a bad evolve, but one thing's for certain, you're never the same person again, because you've changed. And that's the part I mean when I say I agree with her mother. And now as for the whole Wildcat identity thing, I'm sorry it took me so long to get to that, but still, to see her in that Wildcat outfit was awesome. Now first off, it didn't fit her, but then when she put the helmet on, we find out that that suit is form-fitting for anyone. One size fits all, because it actually does the same thing that the Black Panther outfit does when T'Challa puts it on. The only difference is, first you just put on the helmet, and then the suit just adjusts to the person who uses it. And yeah, we're finding out at this version of Wildcat, first off, Yolanda, she's able to box and stuff, but from what we know so far, she's not agile or anything. But while she was learning about the abilities of what Wildcat could do, we were given a good reference to real world things for people who are trying to catch up on comic characters they want to look into. And that's through Wikipedia. Yeah, when they were doing that, Courtney was using Wikipedia to discover what Wildcat's abilities were. Oh, that's funny right there. I just couldn't stop laughing. I was like, oh, I'll be damned. Oh, man. But moving straight on now. And the new life as a Wildcat, at first, after the mission they had, she was going to reject it and realizing that now it's time for her to be Yolanda again. But like I said, after the rejection from her family, she was heartbroken about it at first. And as a matter of fact, the only one who seems to really be looking like he's supporting that they're supporting her is her brother, Yolanda's brother. But just wanted to throw that out there. Back on track here. She after that confrontation with her family didn't work out so well, she decided that maybe this is my new identity. Wildcat's my new identity. And she's right. But not only will Wildcat be her new identity, it'll help her discover her new identity as Yolanda in her civilian life. And I cannot wait to see that. It promises to be interesting on that part. But now that I've said that, though, oh yeah, one more thing I also forgot to mention. During the mission Yolanda and Wildcat and Stargirl had, they were infiltrating the hospital, and let me just say, I think Wildcat knows about being a hero better than Stargirl. Why? Because, well, Stargirl, seriously, girl, you really are being very short-sighted, just like Daisy from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is short-sighted there, and I hope you work on that, because she was actually gonna turn off the power in a hospital? A hospital without power, with people who could be on life support system? Is this girl not thinking straight? Which makes me once again so happy that, yes, this staff has a mind of its own, because it knew that, and yeah, when she realized that, she just had that nervous expression on her, and I was like, yeah, you better be nervous, girl. What is wrong with you? But now, having said all that, though, let's go into some of the smaller plots in this episode, such as in the fact that finally we are introduced to Dr. Dragon King, who is the daughter of the Queen Bee of the Blue Valley High School, Cindy. Her father is Dr. Dragon King, and just let me say, the presence this guy brings out, it is very intimidating and stuff. Now, from what I've seen, and from what he said and stuff, he sounds like a scientist. I'll be sure to look up more on this guy later on. But still, from what we know so far, he looks like a scientist, and it looks like he mixed DNA with him to be half human and half reptile. At least that's what it's looking at, because you can see some of his skin through the eye sockets of his mask. And yeah, I don't know what kind of mad scientist he is, what he's planning to make. He's planning to make a machine, no doubt for the Project America, but all I know is whatever it is, can't be pretty. And speaking of other Injustice Society members, we are hinted at a few others here in this episode. Like I said, Wildcat and Stargirl infiltrating the hospital to see if there are any other people who are going to visit Brainwave and find out if they're members of the Injustice Society. First off, while they didn't exactly find anyone particular, they found a suspicious person, that being Principal Boney, who looks like she might be a member, but what kind of powers or abilities or DC villain is she? Because violin for whatever reason while Brainwave's sleeping? I can't help but wonder, what did she do there? I gotta look up on that, because violins for something? And I'm not saying that as it sounds lame, because music on a supervillain can be dangerous. That is for sure, if they know how to use it. But whatever it is, we better keep our eyes out on it, because wow. But now that I've said that, finally, there's one more other person to talk about here, and that's Pat, who, as y'all saw in this episode, not really much Pat and Courtney talk here, which, believe it or not, I think that's good, because we're gonna also want to look at them individually as they work their own cases and stuff, but I hope they don't do that much, because at the end of the day, it's all about Stargirl and Stripes, because they've always been together when it comes to those two characters. But either still, though, Pat's starting to get on the trail to learn about. First off, he found out that Blue Valley isn't what it is, all thanks to Denise, the wife of the wizard who died, and Joey, and the mother of Joey, who both died in last week's episode. She warned Pat that the town isn't what it seems, showing that whole friendliness thing we saw in the first episode and stuff. Ever since then, we've been getting to see the unripped layers of this town, to find out there's a darkness to it. And this is going to be interesting to see how much more layers are cut out, because not only did she warn Pat, but afterwards, Pat later on at the end of the episode found her car, because he was working on her car earlier on in this episode, and he found out it is now in the wreckage where he's been going to get parts to fix up his Stripes robot. So does this mean the Injustice Society killed Denise, or what? We don't know, because her body wasn't found. All we just know is her car was found in the wreckage not too long after she warned Pat about leaving the town, or don't trust what's in the town. So, well, I guess we'll find out later on down the line, but I am very interested in that point. And now, guys, one more thing I want to talk about is, like I said, continuity-wise, the Joey's death and William's death and stuff, it kind of didn't really look like it showed any continuity here, other than Denise and stuff. But I think, like I said, I'm sure that's because it was all on the back burner. But at the same time, you'd think it would have helped Courtney grow a bit, but no, still the same Courtney and stuff. I mean, I know Joey wasn't her friend and stuff, but in last week's episode, it was showing her the failures of what can happen as a superhero, that you can't save everybody and stuff. I don't know, maybe she's just still very one-track minded on trying to find Icicle and make him pay for defeating her, as she believes, Starman being her father. I don't know. All I just know is we'll just have to wait and see on that. But I did end up loving this episode. Not as much as the last 3 episodes. This would probably be my least favorite. It's still a good episode, just my least favorite of the 4 right now. Because I did enjoy the whole thing with Wildcat and stuff. And how they're showing the development of them all as superheroes and stuff, and leaving us knowing a little bit of background and stuff, such as, for one, the next member of the Justice Society, that being Beth, who we learn spends a lot of time with her parents because she doesn't seem to have any friends, but we learn about she may have some abilities of her own. And I'll talk more about that coming in next week's episode. But I'm going to go ahead, guys, leave it all at that. And hey, if you're enjoying my videos, all you got to do is click that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to be notified when I make more videos. And until then, MegaGeekMixer signing out. Bye!